So what is up, YouTube? Got my glasses, everything straight, I think. Anyway, I'm gonna do a video about Cali muscle and his situation. Look, cucurbitacins and citrulline are essential, right? But also there are things with bodybuilding that aren't, in my opinion, up to par, right? So maybe Cali muscle's watermelon fast is a referendum on fitness in general, or specifically a referendum on bodybuilding. There are things that I see with bodybuilding that I think could be better, right? I don't think people need steroids to get big, right? So, I mean, definitely you need something to get, superhuman big, but like, there are low-hanging fruit all along my supplement pantry that I can pick one after the other one and improve my health and fitness, right? And so here are some things that I think that are essential to being able to be healthy, um, and that aren't really aligned with a lot of what I see in bodybuilding. If you want to know my perspective, so I'm Smitty, I'm a triathlete. I was hit by a car, and so as a triathlete, I never had to count calories, really. I just had to count calories when after I had an accident, and the left side of my body was numb and I couldn't move my arms and had to walk with a cane, all this stuff. And so I had to learn how to lose weight by counting calories and lifting weights as a bodybuilder would. So I kind of understand both ends of the spectrum, right? So I did endurance, running, cardio, and then I did resistance training. And then also in high school, I was really fast, right? So I ran a 4.5 40 when I was in high school without even trying as a senior, right? So I want to point to a couple of things in bodybuilding culture that I think are problematic and can inhibit someone's ability to be healthy, right? So one of those things is just the levels of histamine in your blood, right? And so if you look at bodybuilders, they typically are bigger. They probably have more type 2 muscle fiber. And let me get into this, right? So I asked my friendly chat GTP enabled app, my bodybuilders have high levels of histamine. My bodybuilders have high levels of homocysteine, cite relevant sources in MLA format. Then my chat GPT enabled app, Qual AI answered with this: there is evidence to suggest that bodybuilders may have higher levels of homocysteine. Homocysteine is an amino acid that is produced during metabolism of methionine, another amino acid. Elevated levels of homocysteine have been linked to an increased risk of cardiovascular disease. So we all know that Cali muscle had an attack, right? Heart attack. A study published in the Journal of International Society of Sports Nutrition found that bodybuilders had significantly higher levels of homocysteine compared to control subjects, with a p-value of 0.001, Bloomer et al. 2006. This study also found that bodybuilders had lower levels of vitamin B12 and folate, which are important nutrients for regulating homocysteine levels. There you go. That's why I always promote B-complex vitamins. As a triathlete, I figured this out. Another study published in the Journal of Strength and Conditioning Research found that bodybuilders who supplemented with creatine had higher levels of homocysteine compared to bodybuilders who did not supplement with creatine, with a p-value of 0.05. Robinson et al. 2000. The study suggests that creatine supplementation may contribute to elevated levels of homocysteine, right? Overall, these studies suggest that bodybuilders may have higher levels of homocysteine, which may increase their risk for cardiovascular disease. So everyone talking about creatine, also know that you need to supplement with B-complex vitamins. It is important for bodybuilders to monitor their homocysteine levels and ensure they are getting adequate amounts of vitamin B12 and folate. Now, the sources are Bloomer and Robinson from 2006 and 2000 respectively. So my next question has to do with histamine. So we looked at homocysteine and now we're going to look at histamine. So I wanted to know if bodybuilders would have higher levels of histamine in their body. So I asked my friendly chat GTP enabled app all about histamine, and I'm trying to figure out the answer, right? So here's the question. My bodybuilders have high levels of histamine, cite relevant sources in MLA format. There is limited research on the relationship between bodybuilding and histamine levels. However, there is some evidence to suggest that bodybuilders may have higher levels of histamine due to their dietary and supplementary. However, there is some evidence to suggest that bodybuilders may have higher levels of histamine due to their dietary and supplement practices. A study published in the Journal of International Society of Sports Nutrition found that bodybuilders had higher levels of histamine in their blood compared to control subjects with a p-value of 0.05, Bloomer et al. 2006. This study suggests that high protein intake of bodybuilders may contribute to elevated histamine levels, as histamine is produced during the breakdown of protein. Another study published in the Journal of Sports Medicine and Physical Fitness found that a supplement commonly used by bodybuilders, beta-alanine, may increase histamine levels. Artioli et al. 2010. The study found that beta-alanine supplementation led to a significant increase in histamine levels compared to placebo with p-value of 0.05. Overall, these studies suggest that bodybuilders may have higher levels of histamine due to the dietary supplement practices. However, more research is needed to fully understand the relationship between bodybuilding and histamine levels. Bloomer from 2007 and Artioli from 2010. I apologize in advance for any mispronunciation of anybody's name. And so I'm going to ask the next question about high histamine levels and the risk for cardiovascular disease, because the first study of high homocysteine levels already showed that high histamine levels can create issues with cardiovascular health. So I asked my friendly chat GTP enabled lab, why might high histamine levels increase risk of cardiovascular disease? Cite relevant sources in MLA format. There is evidence to suggest that high histamine levels may increase the risk of cardiovascular disease. Histamine is a biogenic amine that is involved in several physiological processes, including inflammation and vascular permeability. Elevated histamine levels have been linked to increased inflammation and oxidative stress, which are both risk factors for cardiovascular disease. A study published in the Journal of the American College of Cardiology found that histamine levels were significantly higher in patients with coronary artery disease compared to healthy controls, with a p-value of 0.001, Jin et al. 2014. The study suggests that histamine may play a role in the development of coronary artery disease. Another study published in the Journal of American Heart Association found that histamine levels were positively associated with the risk of heart failure in older adults, with a p-value of 0.001. Bayeva et al. 2014. The study suggests that histamine may contribute to the development of heart failure by promoting inflammation and oxidative stress. Overall, these studies suggest that high histamine levels may increase the risk of cardiovascular disease by promoting inflammation and oxidative stress. It is important to monitor histamine levels and manage any underlying conditions that may contribute to elevated histamine levels. And there's the sources from Jen 2014 and from 2014 again is Bayeva. So so there you have it. So I asked another question about histamine. I wanted to know the mechanism by which histamine promotes inflammation and oxidative stress. And I asked to cite relevant sources in the MLA format. So my chat TTP enabled app responded with histamine promotes inflammation and oxidative stress through several mechanisms. Histamine is a potent vasodilator and can increase vascular permeability, which allows immune cells to enter tissues and cause inflammation. Additionally, histamine can activate immune cells and stimulate the production of reactive oxygen species, which can cause oxidative damage to cells and tissues. A study published in the Journal of Clinical Investigation found that histamine can activate mast cells, which are immune cells that play a key role in the inflammatory response. Galli et al. 1991. Mast cells release inflammatory mediators such as cytokines and chemokines, which recruit immune cells to the site of inflammation and promote tissue damage. Another study published in the Journal of Immunology found that histamine can stimulate the production of ROS in neutrophils, or reactive oxygen species in neutrophils. Another type of immune cell, Babior et al. 84. ROS can cause oxidative damage to cells and tissues, leading to inflammation and tissue damage. leading to inflammation and tissue damage. Overall, these studies suggest that histamine promotes inflammation and oxidative stress through its effects on immune cells and vascular permeability. It is important to manage the histamine levels and address any underlying conditions that may contribute to elevated histamine levels. We're excited from, I know these are old, right? Galley from 91 and Bebier from 1984. Yeah, so that's my take on it. So basically, he's doing a watermelon fast, right? You do a watermelon fast, you're not going to have high levels of homocysteine because you're not processing a lot of protein. And there are some issues around reactive oxygen species and in hydration and histamine levels. And high histamine levels may mean cardiovascular risk. So you're definitely going to be avoiding a lot of that stuff if you're fasting and only eating watermelon, because you only got one variable to control for. Anyway, that's it for this video. If you need help reaching your fitness goals or wellness goals, seek a fitness professional. If you would like help from me, there's resources in this video, on this YouTube channel, and at iHeartGains.com. I'm Smitty. I hope you reach your fitness goals. I'll talk to you in the next one.